Hate to be an I told you so, but I did predict that this would happen. I'm telling you guys, Netflix is going to put the theaters out of business. Netflix killed Blockbuster Video. The movie theater is next. The film industry has long been ripe for disruption. Netflix is going in for the kill. I have fond memories of going to the movie theater, the excitement of packing up into the car with mom and dad ready to head out for something special. Got to get there early, I'd say. Don't want to miss the previews. I doubt my children will have those same memories. It's a rare event that we go to the movie theater, and the reason why is clear. Streaming services dominate my children's entertainment, and mine as well. It all began with Netflix, of course. Now there's Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and what seems like a new service launching every week, not to mention YouTube. And while my kids and I still enjoy heading out to the movies every now and then, there's no doubt that we're usually happier to watch content on our own devices. Kurt Cable, CTO of the Semantic Data Group, recently gave it some interesting context on LinkedIn. Quote, "A family of 4 will typically spend $100 to go to a movie," wrote Cagle. To put into perspective, not going to see a dozen movies a year would pay for a home theater system with a 55-inch TV and a surround sound, plus the cost of the streamed movies and popcorn. Interestingly, Netflix, which began as a DVD delivery service, is widely credited for putting video rental stores like Blockbuster Video out of business. Now it's the film industry that's ripe for disruption, and Netflix is going in for the kill. What the data says. You're crazy, some people will tell me. The box office is thriving. Well, yes and no. Yes, the box office revenue seems to have steadily climbed in North America over the past decade, peaking in 2018 at an all-time high of $11.9 billion and dropping to $11.4 billion in 2019. But this figure is skewed, much because movie theaters must regularly raise their prices to account for the inflation and drop in sales. Because of this, the far more revealing figure is the number of movie tickets sold. And as you can see from the data assembled by the folks over at The Numbers, this number of tickets sold has been on mostly downward trend. The question is, as streaming services get more competitive, the consumers have more content options than ever. They will continue to pay more and more to go to brick and mortar movie theaters. Additionally, keeping in mind that current generation is growing up consuming most of its content on personal devices, they will even want to go to the movie theater? Wow, I fucked that sentence up. Additionally, keeping in mind that the certain current generation is growing up consuming most of its content on personal devices, will they even want to go to a movie theater? Of course, there's one reason and one reason only, that the majority of us go to the theater because it's the only place you can go see a new movie. Netflix knows this well, and that's why company's strategy has increasingly focused on paying for original content. Not just any original content, but big budgeted feature films with big name directors and stars, both the kind that have blockbuster potential in theaters and the kind that win awards. In fact, according to its Q3 report last year in 2019, Netflix spent about $15 billion on content alone. For point of comparison, last year's Avengers Endgame, which passed Avatar to become the highest grossing movie of all time, reportedly cost around $350 million to make, plus an additional $150 to market, and came close to $2.8 billion at the box office. Netflix's goal is clear: to become the go-to place for new releases. It will certainly have competition with Disney, who owns the rights to 7 of the top 10 highest grossing films of 2019, but just as we wouldn't see so many automakers starting to build electric vehicles if it wasn't for Tesla paving the way, we wouldn't see so many streaming services if it wasn't for what Netflix taught them. Value, convenience, without sacrificing quality wins. That's why, all things considering, it's not a matter of if the movie theater empire will crumble, it's only a matter of when. Now, the reason I read this article is I wanted to bring up a point, and movie theaters in general, you know, I think an average person that's watching this video right now, you probably see maybe 2 or 3 movies a year, if that. Most of the time you probably go in the summer when it's hot outside and you want to be somewhere where it's cold. You probably want to see a Marvel movie because that's usually when they release those, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Maybe you went to go see Godzilla. You don't go see the movies like I do, and the only reason I see as many movies as I do is because I have a movie pass, and also because I love what I do. I like seeing any movie, seeing how it makes me feel, and then trying to find ways to translate to you, the watcher, how that movie made me feel and whether it's worth your time or not. Because I do believe that when you're charging $15 a ticket, and that's like average price now, $10 to $15 a ticket, depending on where you go, whether it's D-box seating, whether it's a 3D release, and even some of those are starting to, you're not seeing as many 3D releases anymore because that trend is kind of wearing off. And I'll tell you something else. I saw Joker. You know, my parents got a new TV and I decided to watch Joker with them. They had a 65-inch, you know, UHD, 4K, QLED, all the bells and whistles, Dolby Vision, all that. Joker looked better on that TV than it did in the premium theater that I watched. I watched Joker when it came out, like first weekend I watched it, and it looks better on that TV. Plus, you know, you have, like I said, you have the convenience of pausing it, getting up, going to the bathroom. Another problem is the snacks. Now, I know this is not the theater's problems. You know, I mean, they get gouged for these movies. They don't get a lot back on the return from the movies that they show. They're under really rigid restraints. Like Disney says, well, if you have a Star Wars movie, you have to play it on 4 screens or whatever, and that sucks. So they raise the price of their snacks to make up on the back end. But the problem is, it's the quality. It's like, if you're going to charge me, you know, $20 for some chicken fingers, can't you at least give me something that doesn't taste like it was zapped in the microwave for 30 seconds? I like the theaters that have like the Cinebistro thing going on. I know it's really expensive, but I like the convenience of just paying up front. They work in the gratuity, they bring the food out to you, and then you eat and you watch the movie. I love that experience. Can I afford to do it all the time? Oh, absolutely not. Nobody can. But it's the convenience of it, because I can't tell you how many times I go see these movies on Thursday. Like, for example, tonight I'm gonna go see Gretel and Hansel. There's no good places to eat near the theater, nor is there any good place to eat inside the theater. My suggestion is, why don't you team up with some of these fast food joints? You know how malls have a food court? Why don't you put like a little mini Taco Bell or a little mini White Castle or something like that inside the actual movie theater? They give you like a small sampling of what one of those fast food places would. I guarantee you would make the appeal of going to the theater better if you could give me some more conveniences. Another problem, sound. People can't hear the movie because there's usually some jerk in the theater that's talking next to you, talking through the entire thing, talking through the trailer, fiddling with their phones. Why don't they make it so you can take some headphones in, link up by Bluetooth or something like that, and watch the movie, drowning everybody out completely in the background? Now, there's always going to be the problem where, well, I can't pause the movie on the big screen. I get that. But going to the movie theater is an event. It's a date thing. It's a family thing. I'm old enough to remember going to the drive-in. I absolutely loved going there. I'm going to miss those moments. I'm going to probably be the last guy in the last theater watching the last movie, but I can't say that I didn't see this coming. And really, theaters don't have anybody to blame but themselves, but it's also the movie industry in general. It's the quality of films. They've really dipped. I mean, I've seen 7 movies this month and 4 of them are turkeys. Now, granted, it's January, aka Dumpuary, but still, when you're asking $15 for a ticket, can't you at least pretend to put some effort into some of these movies? I mean, some of these are objectively bad. Just objectively bad. It baffles the mind how some of these get made and how they get qualified to even be in the theater in the first place. It's mind-boggling, some of the movies that I've seen. And no wonder people don't go. I mean, the last movie that my parents and I went to go see together was The Last Jedi, and it soured them so much that they don't want to go back to the theater. It's hard to sell them on something being good. They're very bitter about what's been coming out over these, you know, and maybe some of that is age, but then maybe, you know, maybe I grew up in the golden age of movies and it just has not gotten back to that because Hollywood is constantly trying to recreate those moments rather than come up with anything original at all. There were some good movies last year for sure, but I went into a lot of them not expecting much, and then I was generally surprised. And also, a lot of those good movies, they don't release them until the very end of the year, so by then a lot of people have given up. They go see a couple movies in the summer, they weren't that great, and then they don't go back for a really long time. So the one movie that would have got me and my parents and everybody in my family back together to go see in the theater was The Irishman. Guess where it showed up? Netflix. You guessed it. And it looked beautiful on Netflix. And honestly, I'm fine with it. If all the movies start coming to Netflix or a streaming service and I review them there, it won't affect me one bit. I'll cancel the movie pass. By then it'll probably will have canceled itself, and I'll be able to review them a lot faster and tell you what I think about them. It's just a matter of me adapting. Anyways, what do you guys think about this? Am I crazy? Was I right? Do you agree with this? Does it make you sad to see the movies go? What was the last movie you saw? Leave a comment in the comment section. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Give me a subscribe if you haven't done so already. You guys have yourselves a groovy day, and this is Adam signing out. Peace.